Yeah, that is definitely the right way to do it. Now, for anybody wondering what the score is at the moment, it's 2-0. MarineLorD is up at this point. So, going to be having a difficult time, ProBiz, as he enters into this third game going up against MarineLorD in this Holy Roman Empire mirror. Lidakor, we've got 19 seconds until the game begins. What's your prediction here?
Oh, this is a tough one. So far, MarineLorD felt a lot more convincing, but part of the reason why he won of the previous games is that he had better civilizations for both maps, I believe, or at least he used them better than his opponent did with his own civilizations. So a mirror matchup might actually even things out here for Probe as we jump into game number 3 here. On the right side is MarineLorD as blue, and on the left side is Probe in red, both playing the Holy Roman Empire.
Yeah, so these players, as we have touched on before, both coming from the StarCraft 2 scene. MarineLorD, a very top-level player, Probe the best player in Australia, and both now beginning to transition towards Age of Empires 4. So great to see the talent over here. For Probe, we've got an early Prelate coming out straight onto this this lumber camp. Do we have the same from MarineLorD? No, it looks like... Oh, we do actually. He just had it rallied to the sheep. Was a little bit curious. Sometimes you can never really know exactly what that prelate's going to do with the sheep, but it looks like he's decided to give it up. And now MarineLorD's going to wake his prelate up. It's not auto buffing. He needs to get it in a little bit closer here. It's only buffed up that single villager at this point.
Yeah, that's a bit of a mistake there. The Prelates has a very short range, so the thing is that he's trying to split that Prelate in between the Lumberjacks and the Food Gatherers, but in reality, most of the Lumberjacks are not buffed because the Prelate is too far.
Yeah, and he still hasn't actually woken up to this fact yet. So hopefully he spots that, because Probe, on the other hand, has got everybody buffed up right now. So a pretty significant advantage. Basically, you might as well just delete that Prelate at this point. So MarineLorD, as you mentioned, you know, we would see a relatively even battle, but now finally MarineLorD has woken up. After 90 seconds, he's realized, well, hold on a minute, there's something going wrong right here. Where's all my wood income? And that's where it is. It's all downhill.
Now, a Prelate boosts a villager for 30 seconds, so in the early game, what you have to do is micro your Prelate in between your Food Gatherers and your Food Gatherers, bring it in, boost the villagers, go back to the other one, and that way you can pretty much have your entire eco being boosted.
Yeah, that's a really good point. One of the things to note as well is that villagers, there's a single villager out here for these players. We've actually seen players start to move out a second villager out here just because of any potential scout harass. We do see MarineLorD heading towards that side of Probe's base, so we may potentially see him do the same thing. So we'll have to have a look and see whether he decides to harass that villager. But going to be coming down here towards the south. First fishing boat out now for Probe. And we'll have to take a look. I suspect he's probably just going to start right-clicking this villager. And this is the consequence. If you don't bring out a second villager, you're going to have to do the long walk of shame back towards that town center. So by bringing out that second villager, and look at him being so sneaky, leaving the sheep out along the tree line and now just picking it back up so that he doesn't lose it. This is really smart play from MarineLorD.
It is very smart, and as you said, this is why you always pull a second villager, because that is enough to scare away the opponent's scout. Now we have villagers on gold coming in for Probe. Considering that his food villagers are already boosted, plus he's got fish, he needs to constantly boost the gold miners. Otherwise, he's gonna float a lot of food, but he won't have enough gold for Feudal Age.
Yeah, that's a really good point. It's going to take him a little bit longer to be gathering up that gold. But if we take a look over at MarineLorD's base, I'm curious to see exactly what he's up to. So he's got 5 villagers on gold at this point. Only 4 on wood, but that's still that should be enough for him to actually be keeping up that fishing boat production. So having a pretty nice economy here. And what kind of strategies do you think we're going to see out of these players here, Lidakor?
I think, considering it's an HRE mirror and considering how important the water is from a fishing perspective, it probably will just be galley mirrors, and whoever starts losing on water will start focusing on land. The bigger question, I believe, is what's the follow-up in terms of land economy for these players? Are we going to see a second town center by anyone?
Yeah, that's a really good point. And one of the things to note, for me at least, like when I play this map, I normally play it as the Chinese. So what's my big focus? Villages. But obviously the alternative, playing the Holy Roman Empire, is that you can actually just ignore secondary town centers and just go for the Regnitz Cathedral in the Third Age. So do we potentially just see players look to go for a fast castle here as well, and just even ignore that food economy? I really wouldn't be surprised if players just don't even make galleys. You know what, that's kind of crazy, but I wouldn't be surprised if players just ignored their fishing economy and they said, I'm happy to lose this, I'll just go straight into the Regnitz Cathedral instead. Get those extra prelates out, go grab those juicy relics. We can see up towards the north of the map, there are many relics that have spawned. There's one along that shoreline, two up towards the very north side, and then one above MarineLorD's base, one to the south of Probe's base. So everybody's got their relics, and pretty even, I'd say.
It is very, very even. 3 relics in the middle, 1 on each side. And as you said, it's a possibility that the players would just go Ragnitz Cathedral, especially considering that once you get to Castle Age, you can still try to go back on water using the Hawks.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So the galley, it's quite weak against the docks. So the docks should still be alive by the time you get up. And then once a Hulk gets out, well, you guys know how strong the Hulk is. Once it gets out, it is going to very easily be able to deal with any potential threat on water.
MarineLorD is up the Feudal Age, shortly followed by Probe, who, by the way, has all his fish on deep fish, whereas MarineLorD has it on shore fish, so despite the fact that MarineLorD has 9 fishing ships and his opponent only has 7, he has a more efficient fishing economy over here.
Yeah, that's definitely a really good point. I did actually failed to realize that MarineLorD didn't have deep sea fish. Has he spotted out that deep sea fish? There is deep sea fish out there for him, but it is just a little bit far away. It doesn't look like he's spotted it out to his north, unfortunately for him. But now going to spot that out and begin moving the fishing boats down there straight away. So that's going to help him out a huge amount. But both players are adding a second dock, so I do expect we will see them beginning to fight over this water. MarineLorD already in the second age. Probe about to click up now, 620, a little bit delayed for him as that prelate jumps inside the Archon Chapel. Both players going with the Archon Chapel here. Now, have we seen any markets out from these players yet?
No, so far, as it looks like Probe is trying to wall himself up. So Probe wants to go heavy on the water here because he just wants to go full walls and double dock naval combat. Additional sails coming in alongside the first galley.
Yeah, and now we've got galleys being trained for both players here. MarineLorD actually making a fishing boat as well this late. Typically, you would just see players invest 100% into galleys at this point. Take a look at the current resources as well. MarineLorD sitting with 400 food, 600 food for Probe. And this is normally why you do see players dropping down that market. It's so important that they do it. Galley on galley action about to begin as that fishing boat does make it out alive. Doing a pretty good job of scouting the incoming galley here. And have we got any blacksmith upgrades at this stage for either player? No blacksmith coming down now. Keep in mind the blacksmith does affect your arrow ships.
No blacksmith for either parties right now. Looks like MarineLorD will have slightly better numbers. Here comes galley number 2 and 3. Other side, galley number 2 and galley number 3 are about to hit the field as well. Although it looks like Probe is still going for some fishing boats, so both players heavy on the fishing department here, even in Feudal.
Yeah, I think they might just be going for a sort of a passive approach here. We can see that they're both very heavy on gold still. If we look at Probe's current resources, he's actually ahead significantly when it comes to his gold. He's actually just spent a whole bunch of it, but now Probe realizing he might be in a bit of trouble on the water, so maybe misreading his enemy at this stage, but going to be falling back. And keep in mind, with these defensive shorefish that he's got here, he's not actually going to be losing his economy because it's not like you're up against the French Hulk here. You are going to be able to have that defender's advantage. So he's going to be able to get out more and more of these galleys out.
And as you said, his resources are looking a lot better, so at this space, he's gonna be the one that gets to Castle Age first, and could potentially start securing relics for the Ragnitz Cathedral. On the other side, we do have a market coming out for MarineLorD, and he's not that far away in terms of resources either.
Yeah, he's doing pretty well. He seems to have caught up. Now, one of the things I would look at as players begin to transition into that third age, as we spot Probe probably going to be dropping down his Ragnitz very soon. Do we see prelates get sent out early to go and pick up these relics? It's so important that these relics get picked up. But now we've got ourselves a little bit of a battle on the water as Probe actually is the one that pushes out a huge amount of military here from MarineLorD. So investing a lot of resources into the water here versus Probe, who's actually just dropped down his Regnitz. At least I believe he's dropped it down. We'll take a look. Yeah, there it goes now. And MarineLorD's going to spot that out and realize that he's going up. So it's a do or die moment for him. He's got to punish his opponent now. He's caught him out of position, doesn't have those docks to heal him up, doesn't have the fishing boats to heal him up. So does he try and put the nail in the coffin? That is the question, Lidakor.
MarineLorD sort of needs to, because MarineLorD is not aging up if I'm not mistaken, so at this point I think Probe is more than satisfied to just surrender water control, and as you said, get all the relics for the Regnitz Cathedral, because his opponent will have zero map control on land.
Yeah, that's important to note, that there's zero control on land. Now, one of the things also to note is that there's actually a relic to the north of the map, which is, it's on the waterline, and so basically it is controlled by those vessels to the north. But now we've actually got a pretty decent little trade coming in right now. Action all over the map. The fishing boats do manage to get out alive, and I do like this play from Probe. As long as you keep them alive, you're going to be okay, because you can redock up at any potential second, and you can get these guys back in on action. But now it looks like Probe going to be making a bit of a mistake, getting them in on right-clicked to a fish, and now going to be getting past these galleys and trying their best, but escaping.
Yeah, it was a bit of a mistake to just send them back to fishing here, because the fishing ships will return. So it would have been probably just better to hide them in the corner and wait until you get to Castle Age, because when you get to Castle Age, you will have Hulks out as well in defeat. Here comes the first Hulk.
Yeah, so once the Hulks come out, the tide begins to turn. The Hulks will definitely go into the opposite side's favor. But now we see a villager moving out and looking to get a nice dock. But here, once again, we see that spin micro coming in, and Probe doing a great job. Keep in mind, MarineLorD still in age 2 at the moment, and the Hulks here looking pretty strong for Probe. He's doing a great job of just kiting back and putting out a lot of damage. MarineLorD moving in as well, trying to secure. We see all of these boats coming out, but Probe not really focusing down his enemies, just more spreading the damage out. But now fishing boats going to be coming in here as well, and this is going to be almost impossible for MarineLorD to actually take these down, as a third Hulk now comes out, and it looks like the tides are definitely turning on this battle on the water. Another galley. Look at this sneaky little galley down here.
Tides are indeed turning.
He's looking like he might be up on the ropes right now.
Yeah, MarineLorD is in trouble, because this galley is able to take down ships really fast. You see, those fishing ships need just 2 or 3 volleys to get killed by a galley, and meanwhile MarineLorD is losing most of his galley numbers. But the big deal here, I believe, is that Probe could start picking up relics. If he decides to do that, because so far I don't see a single relic being picked up, and MarineLorD has some horsemen to prevent that.
Yeah, I like this as a smart move here from a MarineLorD. He actually dropped down this stable quite a while ago, so before his enemy actually aged up, he dropped this down, and he got that horseman out preemptively. He said, that's fine, you want to age up, you can do that, but you're not going to be getting any relics, mate.
That's very, very smart. We also have the galleys looping in from the north, just trying to make sure that Probe is going to lose his fishing eco just as much as MarineLorD does.
And down towards the south, we see those fishing boats escaping from MarineLorD's side over towards Probe's side. Now, keep in mind the Hulks are slower than the galleys, but they are obviously much stronger. And it looks like MarineLorD going to be losing the majority of his naval capacity.
He indeed is losing it. The question is, what can he retain from his fishing eco? But I love how Probe is just chasing this one with 1 galley, because the fishing ships are faster than the Hulks, but not really faster than the galleys, so eventually all the fish here will go down from MarineLorD.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's very, very smart from him. Now, for anybody wondering why these players are playing the Holy Roman Empire, I will just remind you that players did agree to veto French on this map, each of them. So we have got 0 French going into this map, and both players are aware of that, and both players recognizing that it was actually going to be the Holy Roman Empire that was their choice on this water map.
It makes some sense. You have a very, very good early game economy, pretty decent navy as well, and as you said, the Regnitz Cathedral helps as well. And looks like MarineLorD is the first one that starts picking up relics. Probe has a monastery out somewhat curiously, but not a single relic picked up so far, so that Castle Age advantage was wasted.
Demo ship coming in, getting pushed up against those docks, going to be firing off and doing a lot of damage. I think Probe might be going for the kill here on water. As another demo comes out, he's got to be careful. Not managing to take out any ships as he does it, but now Probe spinning, trying his best to win here. A lot of his ships are very badly damaged and really going to be trying his best, but only 2 Hulks remain now for his enemy. Look at all of the damage that's out on these enemy Hulks right now for Probe.
Indeed. Probe's ships were targeting this dock over here, so not all the damage was put into the opponent's combat ships, but, oh, that's a fishing ship. For a moment I thought it was a demo, because it was just so motivated to try and ram one of these ships, but it turns out it was only a fishing ship.
Yeah, it's funny how the aesthetics are so different between the two. Now, one of the things I will note, Probe may have forgotten this, but his town center can actually make prelates. And so he's been training villagers this whole time. He's dropped down a monastery here. But MarineLorD now going to be picking up his 2nd relic. So this was the shoreline relic, just a little bit down, a little bit, yeah, up north. Go Lidakor, you can find it. He's just gone past the stone mine. There he is. Going to be carrying that relic all the way back home. And has this single horseman out here at the moment. And this horseman is just going to continue guarding up these relic positions.
As you said, that prelate from Marine or from Probe shouldn't be able to pick these relics up, and the Ragni's Cathedral gets capped at 3 relics, so with the 1 coming in and 1 of these, MarineLorD will be capped, but he can just use this 4th relic to boost the combat abilities of his vessels when he garrisons them into the dock.
Yeah, now one of the things I'd love to see MarineLorD do is potentially hide one of the relics. Oh, speaking of hide, hello, a double. Oh no, this is going to be terrible. Oh no, this is going to be terrible. Here it comes, Lidakor. Oh, it's going to be so close. Oh, he's actually sending all the, oh, very, very fortunate timing right there. That could have been bad, but Probe actually having the hindsight, or the big brain, at least a big enough brain to realize, well, hold on a minute, I got to stay away from those bad boys. Sends in his own demos. The demos go boom.
The demos go boom indeed, and it looks like Probe will be able to keep his prelate alive over here. As you said, he made a monastery here somewhat surprisingly, despite the fact that he could have made villagers on, or prelates on the TC. And we already have the sacred site being taken by MarineLorD here as well.
Yeah, I think this might just be getting taken just in the course of picking up those relics. He's going to be able to secure his 3rd relic now towards the north. So he is going to be happy. He's going to be filling out his Ragnitz Cathedral completely. We do spot Probe heading up here towards the north and looking to pick off any units that are up here. So we'll see as whether he brings in any more of these Hulks, and it actually looks like he is going to be doing it. MarineLorD got to be careful here. He should realize and put 2 and 2 together, but he's actually going to be losing out this prelate if he can focus it down. He does actually focus it down and puts it in a bit of a difficult spot, because now the prelate from Probe is going to move over and look to take this this relic. So a nice job from Probe there. He has picked up the 1st relic in his base. 2nd relic obviously gotten picked up as well over on MarineLorD's side, but now the Hulk on Hulk action begins.
That was a massive big brain move there from Probe, taking down those horsemen so he can get the relics for himself. Right now the naval numbers seem to be fairly even, but the condition of those ships seem to be slightly better for MarineLorD, so looks like Probe is going to be the one that gets pushed back into his base.
Yeah, I love the fact that we continue to see players fighting for water control. Now, one of the things to note is that Probe's actually got a very decent water economy. So we take a look on the minimap and you have a look how many fishing boats he's actually got out here. Looks like there's about 4 up here to the north. He's got a further 2 down here, and then down towards the south, another 4 fishing boats as well. Compare that to MarineLorD, who's just sitting over here on shorefish at the moment, and he's not having a particularly good time. So at the moment, I would definitely say Probe is in a significant lead, considering that he has managed to secure that 1st relic in his base, the 2nd one, which is stolen off MarineLorD, which was going to be MarineLorD's 3rd and final relic. But towards the north, it actually looks like MarineLorD has managed to snag that final relic, beating out his opponent by about 10 seconds. Take a look at that. Probe's gone up there.
Yeah, this could be such a small difference, but it is going to impact the game massively. It's just 10 seconds faster, but that prelate is going to steal the relic, and the scout, it can try killing the monk, but it's not really powerful when it comes to combat, so the monk should be able to get away. We do have men-at-arms being teched into by Probe, by the way. I wonder if he wants to do some sort of transport ship shenanigans.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see that. Men-at-arms obviously very, very strong in the current meta, and Yeah, they're definitely one of the strongest units for the Holy Roman Empire, as now we see a little bit of catastrophe potentially going to be coming out right now. MarineLorD is so close to losing his entire fleet right there. Gosh, you're playing with fire there, MarineLorD.
Yeah, that was very dangerous. He was the one trying to jump on the opponent with the demo, but he was the one that got surprised, and now, as you said, Probe's got the better navy. And one of the reasons why that could be important is because of this naval trading post here, which is one of the ways to get yourself some extra gold income.
Oh wow, he's he's got his scout inside the gates, and he said, "Hey, that relic that you've got, is he gonna walla it? What's he gonna do there? Is he trying to put it in the regnets? I'm curious. I mean, he's sitting right underneath the town center. Surely that that scout does go down. He donates over a sheep, and he does put that inside the regnets. So now up to 3 relics in that regnets. MarineLorD looking pretty strong right now.
That's a 300 golds per minute difference for the two players. One way for Probe to compensate, though, would be to leverage his water control and take this sacred site, because this one can be taken back quite easily by MarineLorD, but the one on the water would be much more challenging to recover for our blue player.
Yeah, that's definitely a really good point. Is there enough room to fit a castle down there, do you think, Lidakor?
I think so.
Probably.
You could
Yeah,
probably get a keep up here.
I think you could as well.
Speaking of castles, there is an Imperial Age on the horizon for Probe. As you said, he had a way better fishing eco, so that's starting to kick in right now. And that could be a pretty massive advantage for him, also demo hiding in the shadows here.
Yeah, we'll see if that demo does get picked up. It's looking like it's pretty good. You can see the way that Probe is leading his enemy towards that patch, but obviously MarineLorD doesn't want any of it. He says, you know what? You stay away, mate. I'm not going to buy it, but MarineLorD's got to be careful here as the demo of his own heads in towards that patch. He's going to be spotting him out, though. They do go boom, taking out the neighboring enemy, but now both of those demos are going to be going down, and a huge amount of units out here for both players. Probe now clicking up to the next stage. MarineLorD probably thinking about it as well, but obviously nowhere near as many resources as the Knight comes out and looking to deny this holy site towards the north.
So, looking at Probe, he's the only one that goes into Imperial, and he's going up with the Palace of Swabia. That's the next step towards just skyrocketing your eco. This bad boy produces villagers at an extreme discount and really fast. It actually is the pace of 4 town centers worth of villager production when it comes to production speed.
It's also important to note that it is cheaper than the other landmark that is available, so 20% cheaper, so a nice little discount that players get as well with this landmark. Enables you to get up just a little bit quicker, makes that fast Imperial for the Holy Roman Empire all that bit more attractive. Now, once he gets up to the 4th age, he's going to unlock access to the Carrack. Do you think this is a worthwhile investment for him, considering the current situation?
It's a possibility, because it would help taking down buildings very fast, and I think it might even be able to range the Ragnitz Cathedral, so you could compensate for your lack of relics by destroying the Cathedral of the opponent. The problem here is that demos perform pretty well against Carracks, so I think he should prioritize explosives first, so his own demolition ships are better, and he can take down the opponent's navy before starting to add Carracks.
Yeah, I think if he added in maybe 6 or 7 demos with that explosive upgrade, he would be able to wipe his enemy off water completely. And then once you've got control of the water, obviously that opens you up to trade if you do want to invest in that route. It also opens you up to dropping your enemy on that side, so whether you want to actually go for a full-blown attack or whether you just want to use that back flank to continue distracting from them. But now we see Probe actually dropping down the first upgrades of the game. So going to be getting that blacksmith in. We see he's actually getting in those double-handed maces as well. And plenty of demos going to be coming out now for him. And we see he does indeed have that upgrade. So he could be looking to push his advantage over on the water in the Imperial Age. Has MarineLorD gone up yet? Has he clicked up to the next age? He has indeed. So is he going up with the Palace of Swabia, or is he going up with the other landmark? No, it is the Palace of Swabia. Okay. But now demos down towards the south here. Where are those demos? I think they're just hidden off in the patch, aren't they? Ooh, that was close.
That was very close, and the navy of MarineLorD is already pretty heavily battered.
Oh, this could be terrible. This could be absolutely terrible. The demo's trying to get in. You can see them closing the distance, and look how much damage they're able to do, taking out half of the fleet while not even getting close to them. MarineLorD's fleet in shatters right now.
Absolutely. Like, those demos are now nuclear weapons with that upgrade, and you see MarineLorD does have some ships over here, but these are so heavily damaged that there's almost no chance for him to win water right now.
Yeah, I think this might be a good game for MarineLorD's water. Jeez, that's a tongue twister. As Probe now begins to pull ahead significantly on this map, up about 2,000 score in this Holy Roman Empire mirror. And you mentioned earlier, Lidakor, that this might be what evens out the match between these two players, playing civilizations that are relatively unexplored, playing a mirror matchup as well, and it looks like this explosive demo may be the one that actually takes out the rest of his army, as two of those, the furthest away out of those goes down, and all of the all of the Hulks are dead. They're all dead. Is that good game?
Yeah, just look at that explosion radius. It's like 5 tiles distance.
It's huge.
It's basically the range of the Hawk. The demo gets itself destroyed, and it still does so much damage that it sinks the Navy. And as you said, MarineLorD is gonna be up to Imperial, but congratulations. What are you gonna do with it? Because now it's Carrack time for our red player. Start shelling the Ragnis Cathedral, and after that, he can just potentially control both sacred sites as well.
So the the demo upgrade, it does 40% extra damage. But I think what it also does is 40% extra range on the demo explosions, or at least it seems that way. You know what, it's probably closer to like 400%, because I don't know about you, but it seems pretty crazy, the range on that demo. There was actually a fight there where one of the demos in the back, or one of the demos exploded and killed a Hulk in the back, but didn't kill the Hulks in the front, and it would just look ludicrous how long that range was. But MarineLorD going to be in a very difficult spot here, as Probe has really leveraged that early economic advantage with this significant amount of fishing boats that he had, and has now leveraged that into an Imperial advantage, and then has got that demo upgrade and really just taken this game by storm.
Exactly. The thing is that I'm not sure if there is a hidden thing with that upgrade, and we just don't have that information on tooltip. But one thing is sure. The thing is that you do have a pretty big blast radius for demos by default, so if you increase the base damage, it's going to increase the damage in like larger distances as well.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point. Now, we've got these knights that are going up against the meta-arms. So these meta-arms, they've got nice little hats on, Lidakor. Have they got themselves an elite upgrade? Indeed they do. So it looks like Probe is getting all of those nice and juicy upgrades as those knights do go down, and we've got a transport ship now coming out. Actually, there's a couple of knights that did make it through. Transport ship going to move a prelate down towards the south. Now, are there any wolves on this island? Whenever I come down here, there's always wolves galore, but it doesn't look like there's any wolves here. Just a boar, and as long as you don't touch the boar won't touch you. At least that's the agreement I have with the boar.
Yeah, that's a good agreement. The problem right now for MarineLorD, as you see, is that he's forced to do a lot of farming, and obviously, at some point, it's gonna become effective, but it's still way better for Probe to just continue fishing as long as possible, so his food eco is still probably better. Looking at the resource income, Probe is leading in almost every category, and did I just see 2 ships being deleted here by Probe?
I think you did, yes. And it makes sense because he's in a position where he's got full line of sight of his opponent on the shoreline, and he is almost at max population. So there's no need for him to have all those extra ships at the moment, because he has guaranteed water control. Now, obviously, you know, MarineLorD can potentially push out from his base, look to bombard the shoreline, but at the end of the day, you know, Probe has achieved what he needed to at this point, and he has won water completely.
Indeed, and I love how safely Probe is playing. You see, he's not even pushing his opponent. He's like, okay, I have the sacred site, I'm gonna go Springolds with roller shutter triggers, boiling oil on my keeps, cannon and Springold emplacement on that keep, and also take the sacred site here. He doesn't even need a keep there because he's got complete water control.
Yeah, that's exactly it. By having the complete water control, he's going to enable himself to be in a pretty decent position. We see a couple of demos on the shoreline as well here, so very, very cheeky. He's got to be careful, MarineLorD does, not to bring any units even close to that shoreline, because they will go bye-bye very quickly.
Fun fact, demo ships have 420 base damage.
I just saw that. I was going to say it, but yeah, you beat me to it. It's a very fun fact right there. But now that second sacred site going to be taken out by Probe here, and he looks to obtain a victory condition as 10 minutes remain. So 38 minutes, 30 seconds, expect to see it. That is going to be our final countdown, at least for the moment, unless this sacred site does get neutralized towards the north or to the south.
The only thing that MarineLorD has going for him right now is that he's got 3 relics in the Ragna's Cathedral as opposed to 2, but anything else, it's in the favor of Probe. He's the one controlling the market on the north, he's the one controlling the sacred site and the coastal trade posts, so this is a difficult situation right now for MarineLorD, and there come the first trade ships, really leveraging that water control here for Probe.
Yeah, these trade ships are going to be bringing in a huge amount of gold and wood. It's important to note they bring in wood for whatever reason. I don't know what that is, but I like it. It makes them a lot more attractive because it is a form of infinite wood that you can get. So that is really great. I'd love to be watching those trade ships now as they actually look to be reaching out down towards that trading post. Let's take a look and spot exactly how much they're going to be bringing in. My guess is 250 gold. Oh, I'm nowhere near it. 176 gold, 88 wood. Huge amounts of resources.
Keep in mind that it is going back to a dock in the middle of the map, so this could easily be 250, 300 if the dock was here. MarineLorD has quite a lot of firepower here, though.
Yeah, MarineLorD in a bit of a difficult spot. A lot of Springalds back here. Some hand cannoneers as well on the front line. But keep in mind, without a front line themselves, they're going to have a difficult time going up against these men-at-arms. Do we see bombards coming out anytime soon, Lidakor, for Probe? I'm curious.
It looks like it. I don't think he needs it. In fact, I think Culverins could work quite nicely for him, because he already has a lot of Springolds that will absorb the damage from the opponent's Springolds. But 2 or 3 Culverins here, especially given the fact that he's floating quite a lot of gold, would help so much sniping down those Springolds.
Yeah, see, my thinking is your opponent is starting to get a bit of a foothold on this front line, and you don't want that because it's going to give them more space to sort of build buildings, and all of those reinforcements are going to be able to come in. But look at the Springold numbers coming out here from Probe. He is really not messing about, doing a great job of focusing down the Springolds on the back line of his opponent, having a pretty decent time here while he does it as well. Trebuchet firing off at the same time, and this castle now is going to be able to begin firing down upon the men-at-arms, and unfortunately, the last one does go down.
Cannon placement on the way for MarineLorD, and now, as you said, now would be a good time to get some bombards out, because you definitely want to get rid of that keep out there, but it looks like it's just Culverins, quite a lot of them, in fact.
Yeah, how many siege workshops do we have out here for Probe? It looks like an awful lot. There's 5 of them. Jeez Louise, that's a lot.
There's a 6th one over here, also a couple of barracks. It's not like he really needs it, to be honest, because he's pop-capped already.
Yeah, it is nice to have those reinforcements, though, on the front line. Very, very close. And now we actually spot that MarineLorD's going to be trying to clear out at least a little bit of a foothold on that beach towards the north. Whether he actually decides to, send down a transport ship to try and nullify that sacred site to the south, we'll have to see. But it's going to be difficult for him to sort of get a nice foothold going.
I think it's still easier for MarineLorD to try and neutralize the one sacred site on that island than break through this defense over here.
Yeah, I agree with you. The question is how he actually goes about doing that, though, because it's going to be difficult for him to do it. Now, we've got those hand cannoneers moving up. They are very effective against the Springolds, but those castles are going to be a great counter towards those hand cannoneers, and this is such a difficult position to push here. I really feel like Culverin with villagers are going to be the counter to any of these masses. And then we do now see the Culverin coming out. Going to be able to one-shot these Springolds up here as well. But got to be careful of the hand cannoneers as they just walk right into range. And that Culverin misplaying completely. First bombard of the game going to be coming out now for Probe as well. And looking to finally secure a little bit more of this front line.
6 minutes remaining until the Sacred Site victory. And you see, MarineLorD is slowly getting a foothold out here. Looking at the army numbers, he's at 29. Probe is at 43, but a lot of them are ships.
Yeah, that's a really good point. A lot of them are ships. Now, Probe has got a significant economy behind this. He sits at the moment only on 262 food, so he's not going to have a lot of men-at-arms, but he's got plenty of resources for siege. So he's going to be very happy to just keep making, a whole bunch of Springolds, a couple bombards as well, maybe a Culverin here or there, and he's going to be a very happy camper.
He's going to be a very happy camper, and as you said, clock is ticking really badly for MarineLorD here, and losing that keep would hurt so much because that's the foothold that he's using.
Yeah, now one of the things to note, I just saw MarineLorD just down towards the south, losing a Culverin for free against those Springolds players, not really looking to heal up their siege at the moment, but MarineLorD definitely pushing out, looking pretty decent at the moment. These hand cannoneers are actually doing a great job on this front line, and keep in mind, despite the differences in scores, MarineLorD at this point in time on this front seems to have a bit of an advantage.
And hand cannoneers are a very, very scary force. You see all the spring mods are down for Probe, but he only needs to hold for 5 more minutes.
Yeah, that's a really good point that MarineLorD is on a timer to push through here. Probe is quite literally, he's just happy to pump in units. He's very happy. You know, he's probably going to be sitting close to pop cap in the next 10 seconds as more units do come out for him. But yeah, he's definitely feeling very good about himself here.
He is looking at his populations at 188. He only has 12 on food, so it's not like it's an insane food income, only fishing ships, but it's enough for what he tries to do right now. Just go full siege defense. MarineLorD stuck at 150 population. I think he's got one last shot at sieging this.
Yeah, it looks really difficult for MarineLorD at this point. He's got a couple of units down here towards the south, a bombard that's going to be coming out as well. And look at all the springalds now for Probe, that it's going to be able to take out that bombard before it even really gets a chance to fire off. And MarineLorD probably realizes he's in a bit of a difficult position here. Looks like we might have a final push coming out, but this castle going to go down, and MarineLorD just taps out right there. Good game over to Probe. He evens up, well, it doesn't quite even up the score, but he gets one back on the board. And it is now 2-1 in favor of MarineLorD.
It was a crucial win for Probe because he was down 2 games. Losing this one would have been 3 games and match point for MarineLorD. And the thing is that MarineLorD seems to be the more experienced player with the game, but you see that the mirror matchup might actually help Probe, simply because that way he can be out-strategized and it all comes down to clean